everybody? How's it going? Ben Gothard here with another Project Egg interview. And today we're going to be talking with Linsay Moore from Florida. How you doing today, Linsay?
I am doing great. I'm doing great. So thank you for having me on here today.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's my pleasure. So let's jump right into it. Linsay, my first question for you is, what is your story?
Well, my story, I used to work for a Medicare contractor. I did that job for almost about 4 years. And, I dabbled with, network marketing off and on for some time or whatever. And after working at that job for 4 years, I just knew that it had to be a different way for me to actually have a life, to actually experience life, to make money and things like that, and have those two things exist in the same place. So I got back into network marketing, which also introduced me into online marketing. And once I came into the online market, I started to get, introduced to other ways to make money online. And I started to fall further and further down the rabbit hole. And to the point where I do more so promoting of affiliate products and also e-commerce. And I've been working full time from home for almost 4 years come this summer. Well, actually 3 years come this summer, 3 years.
Wow, that's awesome. So,
Yeah.
you said you started out more on the Medicare contractor side. Can you maybe give us a little bit of insight on your upbringing, kind of where you came from, and take us all the way to when you started with that Medicare deal?
Sure. So my parents, both of them college educated. My mother, she started off as a math teacher in elementary schools, and then went on to become a trainer at Blue Cross and Blue Shield for quite some time. And my father, he has his PhD in law, was in private practice for quite some time. Also became a college professor during the last few years before he fully retired. So everybody in my house, you had to go to school, had to go to college, and I just was never bitten by that bug. I never really liked going to school. So like both of my two other sisters, they love going to school. They both got the master's degrees and things like that. Me, on the other hand, I did well in school, but like I said, I just never wanted to go. I eventually went to college for 2 years before I just dropped out. And I was jumping from one job to another and things like that. So I finally settled at the job for the Medicare contractor, and that was like the longest I ever been at a job was like 4 years. And then, like I said, like I just knew that it was just something else for me to do. Like it had to be a better way. So that would let me, like I said, back into network marketing in the online space, and like I said, falling down that rabbit hole pretty much. But yeah, like I said, everybody in my family is just really college educated, college oriented, and I just went the other way.
Absolutely. And is there anything about your character that you would be more inclined not to go to college? Like I think a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of the time, it's just it's kind of a rebelliousness in them, or it's some um, problem with authority, or something like that. Is
Mhm.
there anything that you can point to in yourself that is a reason that you may not have been as fond of that whole route of traditional schooling and getting a job?
Like I said, I don't know if it was more so like being rebellious or anything. It was more so that I just knew that there was a better way. Like I've seen, like with my father and things like that, when we used to go on, every weekend, or at least like every few weekends, we'll used to go to Orlando or go to Savannah, go to Miami and things like that for these quick trips. And you always see people who are living in these nice houses and these driving expensive cars, and they're having lunch in the middle of the day on a Monday. And you're like, okay, well, he's not at work, but he's driving this nice car and things like that. So it was more sort of the surroundings I had saw, and when things I saw on TV, and I just knew that coming to going to school, going to college, and basically just regurgitating information over and over again and just keeping things by memory, this wasn't the way to go. Um, and during my college years, like I said, I knew it had to be a better way to make money, to live a different lifestyle, and I couldn't translate that to other people because it was just always ingrained. You had to go to college, you had to get a job. And I just didn't know what I could do to achieve that. So that's why I started with network marketing in my early 20s. I failed miserably several times, but it just seemed like it was the way to go. But I just couldn't really, have success with it until about 2013 when I started network marketing all over again.
Absolutely. So, I want to talk about when you started college and you went for 2 years and then you said you dropped out. What did you learn in that time about yourself that gave you the confidence to say, you know what, it's time for me to move on from college, and what advice would you give to other people who might be thinking about going down that same route?
Well, definitely. One thing I learned, like with college, like I was pretty much, I guess I was kind of pressured, like like I said, that belief system that you had that this is the only way for you to make a lot of money in this lifetime is that you have to go to college and things like that. I already knew before, like I went into college, like I didn't want to go this route. I didn't want to go this route, but like I said, because of the pressure of the family and the whole, if you want to stay in my house, you have to go to college type of thing. So, I was, like I said, just because of the pressure, I had to go. So I would tell people, if you really feel inside of yourself that that is not the option for you to go, then don't do it. I would tell you to do that, or maybe even take a year off. Find out who you are as a person before you make that commitment to go to college and start racking up all this debt that you don't really need. Um, and that's what I pretty much learned from that. And it took me 2 years to kind of basically just put my foot down and just say, like, you know what, this is not the option for me. And I just refused to continue. Now, a part of that decision came, like, I had to get my own apartment. I had to move out and all the stuff like that. But it was a sacrifice that was needed, and it helped to shape me to the person that I am now. So I would definitely tell people, don't rush into the college situation, and don't just do it just because everybody else is telling you this is what you have to do to make large sums of money in this lifetime, because that is not the case anymore.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, I really like what you said about not really worrying about what other people are telling you. Okay, and I think that it's an important point that I want to talk about a little bit, because as entrepreneurs, we're going against the grain, and we're taking paths that most people are not going to take, whether it be because they don't feel comfortable, they don't have the confidence, they might just be scared to do it. So, can you talk about how important it is to be able to kind of shut out that negative talk from other people?
Oh, so the best thing that I ever did for my business to kind of shut out that negative talk is to surround myself with other people who are doing the same thing as me. That is by far the best way, because sometimes if you try to do it on your own, and it's been sometimes during this time I've been building my business that I just been by myself, and it's very easy to get caught up in your head and like all that negative talk, like that's just trying to pull you back into the norm, I guess you would call it, or to kind of bring, if you fail a few times, try to keep you in that failure, those type of negative thoughts. If you don't have nobody to talk to that can relate to the same thing, you will dwell in those thoughts and you will end up quitting. You'll end up giving everything that you worked so hard for. And when I tell you, it's by far the best thing for me to connect with other people. That's why I tell people it's important to go to events. Like I just spoke at an event for a private mastermind in Vegas this past weekend, and I was able to meet some new people that, people that I've already connected with on social media, but now I'm actually physically got to meet them and things like that. And, share ideas, share, the things that we struggle with, whatever the case may be. And just by me doing that, it helped me to get through some of my issues, my challenges, how to actually bounce back from failure a lot often, because if you're going to be building a business online, you're going to have to, I don't want to say really embrace failure, but you have to understand that you're going to fail so many times, but it's the faster you get back up from the failures, the better. And I had to learn that from, like I said, the people that I'm surrounded with. So definitely get you some business friends, an inner circle of people who are all doing the same thing as you, or at least going towards the same goal as you. And that'll help kill all those negative thoughts or whatever the case may be that's going on with you.
Absolutely, and you brought up a few really good points, but I want to touch on failure first, okay? And I like what you said. It's not about really embracing failure, but it's about when you get knocked down, getting back up every single time, and failing early on and failing a lot in order to figure out how to succeed. So can you really expand on that and talk about, one, how important failure is, and two, if you feel comfortable sharing maybe some failures that you've had and what you learned from them?
Absolutely. So, like, actually, I see failures as as really just learning situations. So what is it? Is it Thomas Edison who said he didn't find 10,000 ways that failed? He found 10,000 ways that didn't work, and that's how you have to approach things. So like I said, like early part of my network marketing career, when I was doing this, I would start a business and I would fail, of course. But then I wouldn't start up another business until another year or two, and that was that kind of habit. Like I'll start another business, I failed, and then I'll wait about another year, a year and a half before I started something else. And like so, I went to a mastermind event, and from this event, I learned about how to approach failure, not approach it, but how to overcome failure inside of your business. And when I tell you that I have failed so many times in my business, but it's become so much like almost second nature that I forget how fast I'm actually getting back up. So there's been plenty times during this last few years that I've been a part of network marketing companies, which I no longer do anymore. But I've been a part of companies where I have success with that particular company, and then all of a sudden the company falls apart. They can't pay affiliates, and it's real easy to fall in the pits and don't do anything. But that's just not the plan for me. So I just immediately, okay, well, this didn't work. All right, so what can I promote now? What can I start getting fixed now so I can start generating some income? And I get back up so quickly now. Like I said, I can't even tell you how many times I failed, but I can tell you how many times I got back up. And every time I got back up, it pushed me somewhere, to a different path, to the point where I am now, like I said, with e-commerce and also with affiliate marketing, and also helping other people to make their first money ever online. And for me to get to that point, I had to go through a lot of failures for me to become a better leader for these people that I help and I coach every single day inside of my business.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, you brought up some more points, but I want to talk about something you said earlier. You were talking about how important it is to network and to surround yourself with like-minded people, like-minded individuals. But for a lot of people, it's hard to identify who those people are, and it's even harder to actually surround yourself with those people. So what advice would you give to people who are entrepreneurs just starting up and they need to find a group, an entrepreneurial group or a mastermind or even a mentor? How would they go about doing that?
Find the leaders in your industry. Find the leaders, because most of the time the leaders, like the big ones, they always have events. So like some of the people that I like to follow online is like Grant Cardone. He's having an event in Miami like in a few weeks. Somebody else that's really popular in the internet space is Ryan Dice. He has an event, I want to say maybe once or twice per year. If you're, like Tony Robbins has several events throughout the year. So those type of events, you find those type of leaders and you find out where their events are and you go to those events, and then you're going to meet other people. That's one way you can meet, meet other people that's inside of your niche, or people who are, going the same path as you. Also, I go through YouTube. Also, like I said, I just find leaders. I find leaders. And then when I go to these particular events, like how I got started, I was part of a particular network marketing company back in 2013. I went to an event in Denver, and I met some people there. They became my inner circle for quite some time. I'm still connected to quite a few of them. But by me meeting them, it actually branched out. They're like, oh, well, they introduced me to other people. So it's like just branching out pretty much. But for starters, if you're just brand new, find the leaders inside of your industry. Like I said, like a Gary Vaynerchuk, like a Grant Cardone, a Tony Robbins, a Ryan Dice, a Frank Kern. I think he does like private masterminds, I think. But you find people like that, find out where their events are, and you make sure you go to those events. It's an event coming up this summer, Affiliate Summit East in New York. Get to those events, network with people, get some names, and that's how you start off to start building up your inner circle, so to speak.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's great advice. And I just like to add one more way, which is through Facebook. If you go and let's say you're in e-commerce, there are tons and tons of e-commerce Facebook groups that you can join, and you can ask questions, you can meet people, you can network, and most of the people in those groups are doing the same thing that you're doing. They're just getting started, or they're further along the path. So definitely utilize Facebook. That's actually how Linsay and I got connected, was through Facebook. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you expanded on networking. Um, and speaking of networking, you talked about how you spent a lot of time in network marketing, and for some people, they have a bad um, they kind of have a bad taste in their mouth from network marketing. So without getting too over the line, maybe could you just talk about what you learned from that experience and how it benefited you? Not so much anything about the industry, but more about how it impacted you.
So like I said, I no longer do network marketing, but the benefits, the things that I did love about it is that sense of community, that sense of being a part of something. And then also, like I said, the whole idea was someone talking about going to events and networking. That's a huge part of it. Um, basically like work ethic, because I know when I first initially got started, actually makes you tougher. Let me put it like this. So, when I initially got started, with most network marketing companies, you have to, start with friends and family and things like that. And I was always even nervous to ask my friends and family, about, joining my business or, buying products for me or whatever else. And for every company, I've been a part of many network marketing companies, guys. And um, in every company, I had to start with the same way: ask friends and family, ask friends and family. So that part of it made me really tougher to the fact, and also getting used to rejection. And that's something else that you're gonna have to get used to when you're building business, is getting rejected and how you actually bounce back from it and things like that, and know that it's not anything personal. It's just that people just don't want your products or your services at that particular time. So like I said, just learn how not to take things really personally. And like I said, that filtered on into other business ventures that I have done, things like that. And then like I said, like with network marketing, like I said, I don't want to talk bad about it, because network marketing started all of this. If I didn't do network marketing, I wouldn't come online and try to figure out a way to actually build network marketing better. I wouldn't have found out about, other ways to make money online. I wouldn't have met the amazing people that I'm surrounded by. So, like I said, just because I'm not in it anymore, I definitely don't want to talk negatively about it, because network marketing has produced some of the most amazing people, in business and things like that. And then, like I said, it's been a pathway for me and my business as well. So, if you're watching this and you're thinking about doing network marketing, give it a try. It wouldn't hurt at all.
Absolutely. And again, I don't want anybody to think that I'm knocking network marketing or that we're talking bad about it. Um, but I do like to keep these interviews very personal and not really talk about anything besides you, the guest. So that being said,
Right.
you said earlier in the interview that you wanted to be able to both make money, earn a living, and also experience life.
Right.
And I really like that you said that, because there's that old saying, I don't want to live to work, I want to work to live. So how have
Hmm.
you achieved that in your life, and what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs who might be struggling with that concept of finding time to experience life?
Well, for me, basically, how I was able to even achieve to the point where I am right now in my business, where I'm able to do both, is that I had to stay in the game. And I say this a lot when I do like live stream videos and things like that. That I came into online marketing in 2013, and it was a horrible year. I wasn't making a lot of money or anything like that. It was definitely a learning experience. I call it, like, my transitioning year pretty much. And at any point, I could have just quit and just gave up on the dream, gave up on, like I said, living life and making money at the same time. But the fact that I just kept going, kept showing up every single day, even if I failed, I cleaned up every single morning, showing up. And just by me doing that, it led me to success. By me being consistent in my actions with my videos and, my constant messaging on Facebook, me emailing my list, it, expanded my audience to more and more people knowing more about me. Now they're starting to reach out about my services. Now they're wanting to join my teams or whatever the case may be. And when that happens, that means you're making more money. And because you're making more money, now you're able to go on more trips. So that's why I tell people to make sure you stay in the game and not just only just show up every single day, but make sure you actually doing the work every single day. You have to do the work in order to get those results, to get that income, so you can live that lifestyle. So most people kind of overcomplicate the process, and that's really the gist of it. Just showing up every single day and doing the work. And anything you want is at the palm of your hands, pretty much. All you have to do is do the work and go through the process. It's always a process for everything. You're going to have to go through all the ups and downs, the emotional ups and downs, the family drama, the friend drama, all this stuff. It's just part of the process. If you can understand that it's only a process and that you go through it, you will, see the light at the end of the tunnel. So, end of the tunnel, so to speak. So that's how you do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you brought up a really good point of a lot of people overcomplicate things, and a lot of people probably spend time doing things that just isn't necessary for them to be successful. So based on your experience and your knowledge, what advice would you give to people to cut out the noise and focus on that piece piece of the business that really generates the most return for them?
So like for my business, like for me, that's really going to make me money inside of my business only takes about 3 to 5 things. So people need to determine what those few things are. People think that you have to be at work 24 hours in order to make money, when you really don't. If you can determine what those 3 to 5 things that you need to be doing every single day inside of your business and do them every single day, they will get redundant. Okay? Because it's going to be the same exact things every single day. But if you do it every single day, it's going to pay off. And then also, when I tell you earlier to find those leaders, find 1 to 2 people that you're going to listen to. And because so many people will want to listen to, 15 different people. And when I tell you, eventually all that information you're going to get from all those 15 people is going to start to counteract with each other. Somebody's going to tell you to build your list this way. Somebody's going to tell you shouldn't build your list this way. Email them every single day. Email them once a month. It's just all types of information. So find 1 to 2 people at most that you're going to listen to, that you're going to subscribe to, and follow their methods on how to earn money online. And cut out all the noise. That means also going inside of your email, your Gmail accounts, and unsubscribing to all of those, those people that you have subscribed to or whatever else, and cut it down to 1 to 2 people max. And follow what they said for about a year. Give it a year. Following those 1 to 2 people, follow what they say, stick to it, show up every single day, do the work, you'll get results.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's a really good point, that we as entrepreneurs need to be persistent and we need to stick with things, right? You said give it at least a year. Well, they say, and I say they say, that's not really a credible source at all. I read in a book one time that it takes, I believe, between 5,000 and 10,000 hours to master something, right? And so if you're putting in the work every single day, day after day, for a whole year, you're going to be a lot closer to that 10,000 hours, 5 or 10,000 hours, than if you spend one day doing this and another day, dabbling in that and dabbling in this. And, so I'm really glad you said that. I think that's really important. So you moved from network marketing into online marketing. Could you maybe talk about your experiences in online marketing, and I really want to focus on that first year. What were the things that you did that, looking back now, you wish you would not have done? You wish you wouldn't have wasted your time on. And it may not have been a waste of time, but I think you understand the question.
Right. Yeah. So just what I mentioned earlier, I was listening to way too many people, getting caught up in internet drama or Facebook drama. I was getting caught up in, all that crazy noise, and then trying to do so many different things. So I came online to build a network marketing company, and then I saw something else. Like, what do you call it? Shiny ball syndrome.
Shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, I suffered terribly from that in 2013 because everything looks good. Everything looks good. and I wanted to join everything. And like how you were saying, one day I was doing this, another day I was doing this, and I ended up wasting a lot more time, and I actually wasted more money doing that by jumping all over the place instead of just finding one thing, finding one person to listen to, and just stick with it for at least a year before I made any type of other rash decisions. Like I said, I was just completely all over the place, and I was also treating my business like a hobby. If I wanted to show up, I show up. If I didn't, I didn't. And you can't approach business like that at all. And like I said, I learned, 2013 is where I learned that. Because I came into online marketing, wanted to, quit my job, and I just didn't see it possible because, like I said, I wasn't doing the work, or doing the things necessary for me to achieve that. And then I went to a mastermind event in Dubai at the end of 2013 for a full week, and actually hung around some people who were really crushing the game. Like, we're talking about the guy who hosted the event is like worth over $500 million. And
Wow.
after being around that, I came back to the States 6 months later. I quit my job. Something that I've been trying to strive to do for years. But when you get focused and, do the work, you can achieve your goals a lot faster. And like I said,
Absolutely.
I did in 6 months.
Absolutely. That's incredible. So when people are first starting their business, I feel like, and what you said about shiny object syndrome is absolutely correct. A lot of people struggle with that. How is somebody supposed to identify that one thing? The one thing that, if they continue to do it and they find and listen to that one person who's going to teach them about it, they'll be successful. How do they know when they found that one thing that's going to work for them?
What I would say is do the research beforehand. Like I said, most times we'll see something that pops up in our news feed and it's like how you can make money really fast or something like that. And we just immediately want to join that business because we want to make money fast. And then once you're in it, you find that, you don't want to build your business that particular way. You don't want to spam people's inboxes all day to make money and things like that. So it's important to do the research before you just jump into anything. See, like, even like the person that you plan on joining or maybe purchasing their content or, like their coaching or whatever else. See how they work their particular business. See if that's something that you see yourself doing. Like I said, like some people feel like they just, like for me, I love videos. I love to, market through video. If you're not a video person at all, then I probably won't be the person that you want to work with because I love videos. I love expressing my opinions through videos, my coaching, my teaching, my value, or whatever the case may be. So I think it really just comes down to research and don't just act so quick to make a decision just because you're looking to make money in the next 2 weeks. Just do the research beforehand. I even with my coaching client, who's in e-commerce, they just want to dive in head first. And it's like, you know what? If you actually spend the time and just do the research, you'll make better decisions. So just do the research the company, research the person you're about to work with, join, or purchase their coaching, and that way you can kind of make a better decision or whatever the case may be. But I know for me, it took me about like I went from network marketing to affiliate marketing to e-commerce, and by me doing that and actually having some experience and getting those results is where I really found my passion with e-commerce and things like that. So you're definitely going to have to go through a few things before you actually find the thing that you love. I will tell you that sometimes you won't find it right off the bat because I sure didn't. But whatever you try, I mean, give it a try. Don't just give it, just 2 weeks and just like, oh, I don't like doing this. Actually, give it a try. Put some time into it. Get some results with it. See how you feel when you get those results, and see if it's something that you see yourself doing for the long term.
Absolutely. That's fantastic advice. That's fantastic advice. Now, I'm interested because you said you were doing, you did online marketing, but you went into affiliate marketing and then into e-commerce, and you found your passion there. At what point did you feel like you were successful? At what point, and what were you doing that gave you that feeling of being successful?
Um, I would say when all my traveling started to pick up. So before, like my travels would just be to Miami. Like I'm in Florida. I'm in North Florida. So Miami is like a 5-hour drive, or maybe I went to Atlanta, and that's about it. I noticed that when my travel really started to pick up, like I said, I'm going to Dubai, Bahamas, Jamaica, and I talk about I could never go to Vegas. I started my online business, and I've been to Vegas 6 or 7 times since 2014. So when that started to pick up, and then when being interviewed for podcasts and um, webinars, that's when I was really successful inside of my business, and that I had came a long way. So it was things like that. It was like the actual rewards and the actual when people leave me testimonials or they hit me up, hey, I got my first sale because of something I saw you teach on YouTube or something like that. That's when I knew I hit that level.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So when you went from affiliate marketing to e-commerce, um, and then you say you also do some coaching. Um, what exactly do you do now? Like what is your kind of your big thing right now?
It's e-commerce, and I do take on a few students every single month for coaching for e-commerce, but e-commerce is my everything right now.
Okay, and let's provide some value on this call because this podcast, this show is for entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs are all about value. So, if you could give some advice to people who are trying to get into the e-commerce world, what would you say are the 3 to 5 most important things that they need to work on in order to become successful with e-commerce?
With e-commerce, most important is product research. Starting off, you want to find products that are proven winners. Find products that are already winning. Keep it really simple for yourself. The second thing you want to do is do the research. So when it comes to finding your targeting, define your target audience and things like that, take the time to do the research. Find out what magazines they're reading. Find out what TV shows they're watching. The books, everything like that. Do spend a lot of time on the research prior to this, because when it comes to creating your Facebook ads or whatever type of advertising you plan on using, all that research is going to come handy. All right. And then the third thing, just keep it simple. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate the process, and just show up every single day and make sure you are launching often. And if it doesn't work, move on to the next product and do it all over again. That's it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what platforms do you use for e-commerce? Do you use because there's a lot. There's Shopify, there's WooCommerce, there's Amazon. What platforms do you use, and what do you suggest to your students to use?
I use Shopify. I even use Shopify for my main website where people can find out information about me and also my info products and things like that. And like you said, there's other platforms or whatever the case may be. I just feel more comfortable with Shopify. You can set it up within like less than 20 minutes, and you can have it up and running and ready to promote in like 20 minutes or so. So that's definitely my recommendation for anyone is to start with Shopify. Keep it simple, and if you want something else later on, you can do that. But starting off, just Shopify, 14-day trial, free 14-day trial.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, you're doing Shopify, you're doing your product research, you're researching your target audience, and you have your products on your store. You have your store nice and built out. How do you recommend to get very targeted buyers to come onto your site and actually purchase?
So like I said, that goes in with the research. So I use the audience insight tool. I use that heavily. And also, and I also use Google, to find like magazines and things like that. But just even when I just was my coaching client, like we were in audience insights, and there's a lot of tools out there that you can use. But like I said, just starting off, like learn the manual way of actually learning how to research. So when you actually, start using tools, you actually appreciate those tools a lot more. But you still always want to do the manual way. And I swear by the audience insights tool, and that's inside of Facebook. And I'll spend about, maybe an hour and a half if I'm going into a new niche. I spent quite some time in audience insights doing my research, learning about my particular audience. And I do this before, like I said, with any new niche that I'm a part of, I make sure that I keep a track of all of the new interests that I'm finding. So when it comes time for me to create my Facebook ads, it only takes me minutes to create them because I've already done the research beforehand.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I definitely want to add that Facebook's audience insights is brilliant. I mean, it is just brilliant. It gives you so much information and such good, accurate information that it really does really decrease the amount of time that you have to spend. But I do think that what you said was profound in that you should always learn how to do it the manual way. Learn how to do it as if Facebook's audience insights did not exist, because then you not only appreciate the tool, but you could probably use it a lot more accurately and better. So, we talked about doing niche research and products and getting people in your store using Facebook ads. I want to move more onto your history, but I still want to provide a little bit more value. How do you structure your Facebook ads? What copy do you use? What images do you use? How do you go about deciding those things?
I keep everything simple. I don't like to overcomplicate things. So with my images, they're usually just the image. I don't like to have busy backgrounds. It's going to be, if anything, just a solid white image. And then my ad copy is very simple. Like the whole point of the ad is to get the click. So I'm not going to say like, oh, if you come here, limited time offer, say this, bonanza, bonanza, bonanza. I don't do any of that. Hey, this is available. Buy it here. Click this button and tag somebody who will love this. That's my ad copy. The whole point of the ad is to get the click. We're just trying to get them to the website. We're not trying to sell them on the particular ad. Well, at least that's what I do with my ads for e-commerce. I'm trying to get them to click and come over to the store and purchase. That's the whole purpose. So I keep it very, very simple. And the same thing, like I said, with my images, white background, the image itself, and that's it.
That's perfect. So just keep it simple. Tell only attract the buyers by saying this ad is meant to inform you about this product to buy. This is how you buy it. That's brilliant.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. So
Yes.
I want to thank you for providing that value. I always think it's important to give our listeners something that they can take back with them. So I do appreciate that.
Absolutely.
But I want to talk more about your life. So you're doing your e-commerce, you're doing your coaching, maybe a little bit of affiliate marketing here and there. Where do you see yourself going in the next few years? What does the future hold for Linsay?
Like I said, I love e-commerce, but I definitely see myself working more so with corporations and also, maybe big box companies, stores, and things like that, because e-commerce is the wave of the future. It really is, and I'm completely sold by it. So I definitely see myself. So right now, I'm doing my own stores, and I also, like I said, coach, my students and things like that. But I definitely see myself working with more larger corporations and things like that, getting their stores created, showing them how to incorporate social media and also Facebook advertisement as well to help them increase sales and their bottom line every single month with with their company. So that's where I see myself in the next few years.
That's awesome. That's great. So I just have a few more questions for you. I really do appreciate your time so far. But we talked about your earlier years, how you dropped out of college and you did all these different things, and it seems like most of that time was spent learning and was spent trying to figure out how you can best approach entrepreneurship and what works best for you. And I think
Right.
learning and self-improvement and personal development are really important as entrepreneurs. That being said,
Absolutely.
one of the best ways to do that, in my opinion, is through reading books. What books would you say have been the most influential in your life? And maybe give a top three, top five, whatever you're feeling.
Okay. So one book I always swear by, and people may say it's the cliche book, but it's the cliche because it works. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, guys. So I finally read that book in 2015. This is like maybe a few months before I started with the e-commerce. I read that book and was blown away. And 2 days later, I even share a story about this on my Facebook. But 2 days later, I was implementing what he says, and I made $2,000 from that book. So when
Wow.
people tell you that I read that book and I've made money, I'm one of those people. I swear by that book. And one of the people that I love to follow is Bob Proctor. And if anybody follows him, anybody knows that he bought that book when he was like 20 something years old. Bob Proctor is over 80, and he still reads that book. Still reads it to this day. So for me, that is my forever go-to book, and I always go back to that book as a reference. I at least read it here. So definitely that book. Also, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. That's one of my favorite books as well. And then also, the one that I just completed is .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. If you want to learn how to crush it with like the internet marketing game, get that book. You need that book. And then, like I said, the other two books, they help with the mindset. Also, it's Think and Grow Rich. It also talks about the power of the mastermind. You know, finding other people who are like you with similar interests, and you start to work with them so you can achieve bigger goals. So most of the stuff that I share and things like that kind of relates back to Think and Grow Rich, because a lot of those principles are inside of that book. And if Think and Grow Rich, you can finish that book in the afternoon, read it, then read it again. But make sure you Napoleon Hill gives instructions inside of this book. Follow those instructions. Do what he says, and you will make money from this book. I guarantee it.
That's
You have
awesome.
to do the work.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You got to do the work. So, I just want to talk a little bit more about your future, because you seem to be going in a very successful path. You're coaching people, you're killing it in e-commerce, and it really seems like you're coming into your own as an entrepreneur. But what do you want to leave behind as your legacy?
You came in and out. I didn't hear the last part.
Oh, sorry about that. What do you want to leave behind as your legacy?
That's a good question. This is something that I went to an event in 2014, and they talked about this, about legacy. And up until that point, I never even thought about it. I was talking about, what business I can do and things like that or whatever else. But as part of my legacy, I definitely just want to leave that, that anything is possible, that, whatever you put your mind to, that you can achieve it, no matter what point in life you are. And that's what I want to leave. And I want to make sure, like, even like for my kids, like, the income, the wealth that I'm creating in this lifetime will have, will help them, and, give them that launching pad as well. When it's time for them to start up a business, become adults, or whatever the case may be, and break that cycle that's been, part of my family or maybe other people's families where, we create, income, or create some type of savings or something like that, but it's never enough to, really, help your kids for the next, their next part of life or whatever the case may be. So I definitely want to break that chain, because that's something that's happened in my family, and like I said, it's for most families. So I definitely want to break that chain, give them a launching pad to start with, and to always continue building that wealth over time for, my kids. So that's my legacy. That's what I want to do.
Absolutely. So, Linsay, I want to thank you so much for jumping on the interview today. It's truly been a pleasure. If anybody wants to get in contact with you, how would they go about doing so?
The best way to get in contact with me is through Facebook. You can just find me at Linsay Moore, Linsay. And also go to my website, and it's linsaymoore.com. You can find out more information about me, my coaching packages, and how you can work with me in other videos and value and trainings as well on that website.
Absolutely. And I highly encourage everybody to reach out to Linsay. I'm actually going to put all those links in the description below. So go check those out. Get in touch with Linsay. She can absolutely help you a ton and provide a ton of value. So, Linsay, I just have one more question, but before the interview's over. Is there anything about yourself that you think is an important part of who you are that I did not ask you about today? In other words, what did I miss?
Anything important about me? I was just saying, basically, I don't want to sound really cheesy about saying keeping things positive, but when I tell you it, by me actually being more positive, it actually has more of an impact on my business and things like that as well. I used to be one of those people that would dwell in, sorrow or feeling sorry for myself. Those bouts of like, that everyone has a depression or whatever else. And I used to dwell in those, but like I said, after, increasing my knowledge, reading these books and things like that, that's no longer the issue. And I also treat it almost like, like failure. Like if I'm feeling blue, I find, ways to actually get myself out of those, those states of, feeling sorry for myself or whatever else. I quickly get out of those states because I know that the longer I stay in those states, I'm blocking my blessings. And the better I am in my positivity and, feeling upbeat, being happy and things like that, the better I can be to other people, the better leader I can be to others as well. So, like I said, I don't want to sound like it's cheesy, but it's the truth. Is being positive as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, again, I want to thank you so much for coming on to the show today. It has been a true pleasure talking to you. And to everybody who's listening, I want to thank you. You're the reason that we do this. And this show would, it wouldn't be for anything if it wasn't for you. So, I want to thank you so much for listening. And this has been another Project Egg interview. Today, we've been talking with Linsay Moore from Florida. Thank you so much, Linsay.